to-do lists getting longer? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor your first job and get hiring today by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A surprising first week of the season for both of LA's NFL teams. The Chargers losing home to Miami. The Rams went up to Seattle and put up 30 points on their scoreboard. They also shut out Seattle in the second half to win by 17. The Chargers lose to Miami by 2. They gave up 36 points and 538 yards in total offense. Going to be a long week for the Chargers defense. USC moved up to 5th in this week's AP Top 25 college football rankings. Colorado moved up 4 spots to number 18. The top 4, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and Texas. The Dodgers, 32 games over 500, reduced their magic number to 6 to win the NL West title. The Dodgers are back home tonight to start a 3-game series against San Diego. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DePrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DePrima. Go sis.
First things first.
Good morning and God bless. Hola Jumbo Hotep. I'm Dominique DePrima. This show is First Things First, and my first thing every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High. Asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go, let's go, let's go. We got a lot to talk about. It is the 11th day of September, 2023, 22 years since the attack on the World Trade Center. And anniversaries of this nature are always challenging. Love to hear your thoughts about that and anything else. You know how we do it. We look local. Hour one, we typically focus on the left coast. Hour two, we'd go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. All that is happening today and more. You're always invited into the show. This is the red, black, the green carpet for you. But we do it via telephone, 800-920-1580. You're invited in. Your voice is welcomed, whether you agree, disagree, or you're coming from left field, heck, even right field. We want to hear from you, 800-920-1580. So we are going to have a couple of little innovations, I'll call them. Today will be me, you, and the microphone, hour one, except for a quick check-in from the AQMD. What is that, you may ask? Well, you're about to find out. If you don't know, if you know, then you know. And then hour two will be joined by Neil Anderson of the LA Sentinel, Fox Soul, and all the things she does. And of course, we'll be hearing from Sahara Ali with our Mindful Mondays. In hour three, we get to talk with renowned civil rights attorney. She's one of the early adapters and proponents of reparations, and get her take on this new polling that says Californians don't want to pay you reparations. They don't want to give you a check. That's not what they want to do. No monetary reparation. And, I tweeted it yesterday. You know where I stand. Reparations is not a popularity contest. You don't get to vote on it. It is a debt, and it is past due. But if you agree, disagree, or innovate, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Attorney Nkechi Taifa will be joining us hour three, and that should be quite a stellar conversation. Plus, we can do a deep dive on some of the legal questions around the idea of reparation, redress, the debt, as Randall Robinson so eloquently and early on in this conversation framed it, the debt that America owes. And, we are going to be talking a lot about reparations, partly because of this kind of polling, but also partly because I think that there's a lot going on, and we are in a position to be the lion's historian. The old, I believe it's a South African saying, until the lion has his historian, the hunter will always be the hero. Well, at KBLA, one of our jobs is to be the lion's historians. So that means helping people to understand that, helping to change the public perception that that's not just those of us who are sitting here on the mic every day. That's your charge too, if you believe in reparation, is for people to, in the popular culture, to get their mind around what it is, why it ain't welfare, and why, yes, it can happen. As Muhammad Ali said, impossible is nothing. And one of the things that I aim to do, and which you'll see over the next few months, years maybe, and which of course I've been doing, but I'm stepping it up, right? Stepping it up, is all these different factions, all of these different reparation organizations and philosophies. Let's hear it out. Let's hear what people are talking about rather than assuming we know. Let's foster unity, understanding, progress, and knowledge. And that's what I aim to do. So if you hear from one person, well, that person's this faction and I'm that faction. Okay, fine. Call in. Let's chop it up. Let's see how much distance there really is between what you're talking about and them folks be talking about. And where is the way forward? There has to be a way forward. Some great guests on the topic of reparation coming up in just in the next week. So you're gonna want, as I mentioned, Attorney Taifa will be joining us today. Tomorrow we'll be talking with the LA City reparations Commissioner Kansa Muhammad. She'll be here in studio with me. And so that's, that'll give you another perspective. Next week, we'll be joined with Rashid Littlejohn, and more to come, because this is an important conversation. And that is the reason why we need Black-owned talk like we have around here. Of course, there's lots to talk about as always, and I welcome you to change the subject or build on the subject. But I feel like this this polling out of California makes it sort of urgent, right, that we talk about reparations and why, okay, politicians may now be running from it if Californians are polling and saying we don't think that you should pay cash. We don't think that we want to invest our dollars. We don't think it's our job, and all of the other talking points that come along with the rejection of reparation for African Americans. And by the way, it's not just America that owes reparations. It's not just a federal, it's not just state, it's not just cities, it's not just the private corporations here in this country. Britain and Portugal and France and all the folks that benefited, gorged themselves on the profits of trading in human flesh, have accountability. But in this particular case, when you talk about the United States, that's where we be at, number one. And number two, there are receipts, right? Promises that were specifically made and broken. And so that's what many reparations organizations and activists are building this case on. And we need to be part of building that case based on the conversation, the mutual education, the popularization of the understanding of what reparations is, why it's a debt, not a handout, why it's necessary to uplift not just Black America, but all of America, and how that looks, what the path forward looks like. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. More, I guess, drama, you could call it, around who will be the next senator, Black or otherwise, from the state of California. We'll cover that and more when we continue on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, children are the future. Here, tobacco companies are committed to higher education, offering scholarships to students who submit essays about the benefits of vaping. The tobacco industry even sponsors summer camps for kids. Don't worry, the tobacco-sponsored programs have been linked to leaving your kids more interested in smoking. In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the world's deadliest industry is your child's friend.
See reality at undo.org.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
She's so smooth, I'm interrupting my own shower to remind you to treat your skin like the queen she is with Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash, packed with Olay's highest level of vitamin B3 complex. It's so moisturizing that it will give you visibly smoother, head-turning skin in just 14 days. People wondering, how'd she get so smooth? Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. Also, try Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion.
We've got a lot to talk about.
race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice and injustice, the courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities, and sports figures, elected leaders, and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Ariva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Ariva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Today's episode of First Things First is brought to you by Wealth Management Financial Advisors. They've got tax services, they've got financial planning, and more. And by the way, small businesses, many of us, I should say, our taxes are due on Friday. Yes, that's right, Friday the 15th. If you haven't gotten it together yet, give them a call, 562-427-8877. They're affordable. They can help you get on point, whether you're a small business, a nonprofit, or a big giant corporation. 562-427-8877, or find them online at wealthmanagementlb.com. That's wealthmanagementlb.com. So last week we were talking about what would the governor do should Senator Dianne Feinstein, the oldest person currently serving in Congress, I think she's 90 or 91, should she become incapacitated, some say she already is, or unable to effectively do her job, it would be up to the governor to appoint someone. And the governor, Gavin Newsom, promised when Kamala Harris ascended to the vice presidency, he promised to appoint a black woman next time. We were pressuring him to appoint a black woman to replace Kamala Harris because she was the only black woman in the Senate. And we felt that black women as a whole should not be punished by the success of Kamala Harris, by her becoming vice president. We shouldn't lose a duly elected position. We voted in a black woman senator. She should be replaced by a black woman senator. Well, the governor chose to appoint Alex Padilla, who amazingly became the first Latino senator from the state of California. That's amazing when you look at how many Latinos are in the state. Certainly, the governor has been has gotten support from Padilla over the years, so it made sense politically. And Alex Padilla, although he's obviously not a black woman, has been a great senator. But the governor promised next possible chance, I will appoint a black woman. If Feinstein steps down, many of us were hoping he would appoint Barbara Lee, who's also running for Senate. And although, mainstream Democrats were complaining because that would give her the advantage of incumbency, that was kind of the idea, right? That was the idea. For her to have some kind of, or whoever that black woman was, whether it would have been Karen Bass or whether it would have been, Sidney Comlag or whoever it would have been, that they would have, give them an advantage. Why not? That's kind of the idea, is that we've had all these disadvantages. Now you get an advantage specific to the fact that you made a promise to black women, to black people, to Americans that you were going to appoint a black woman. Well, the governor made it plain over the weekend, saying that no, he will not appoint Lee because it wouldn't be fair. This idea of fairness always seems to leave out racial disparities. But in any case, wouldn't be fair. So what the governor said is it would be unfair to the Democrats that have worked their tail off, meaning whoever's running for office. He said the primary is just a matter of months away. I don't want to tip the balance of that. Well, we want you to tip the balance of that. But he has said, no, what he will do is appoint a temporary replacement, which is exactly what I was talking about last week, right? So what you're really telling us is that you're going to give us the black woman senator that you promised us for a couple months. That's how you're making good on your promise, because that's what that is. If you appoint someone who's not running and who will never run, what you're saying is, in response to a promise I made to seat a black woman senator, I'm going to give you a 3-month sample of what it would be like to have a black woman senator. I'm going to give you a short term, and I have to agree with Congresswoman Barbara Lee on this, a token. It looks like token. You're going to, technically you made good on your promise. So you're going to appoint someone. The governor didn't say who he would appoint. So technically you're making good on your promise because you will appoint a black woman should the need arise. And he did say that he hopes it doesn't arise. And I bet he does. But what he has made clear is that he will not appoint the congresswoman, the only black person running for that seat, which means it's pretty much a meaningless gesture. Because what is a black woman senator going to do in a couple months? She's not going to run again. She's not going to get enough traction to launch a campaign. There are no openings. And, well, maybe she could run for school board or something, having raised her profile. But that's not what we were asking for. We were asking for a black woman to be seated in the Senate for a term of office. Barbara Lee's pretty mad about it. She did say that. She said it smacks of tokenism. And that's not what we were asking for. She said, why do black women have to have a consolation prize? And honestly, you can see that she has a dog in the fight, meaning she would benefit immensely from that. If the governor was to appoint her, then she would have the advantage of an incumbency. Looking at the polling right now, that still might not be enough. She would need to do some serious fundraising and campaigning. It might not be enough, but there's nothing wrong with that. Tip the freaking scales in the balance of black women. That's not something that gets done very often. It's not a crime unless you're running for president and you're worried about, say reparations or... And don't get me wrong. Congressman Adam Schiff is a great choice for senator. Congresswoman Katie Porter is a great choice for senator. But we have no black women in the Senate. Not one. Not one. Out of all 50 states, not a single one. We had one. You tapped her for vice president. It's not a crime to give the incumbency advantage to the black woman candidate. That's kind of what we were asking you to do. Now, had it been 3 years ago or 2 years ago and Senator Feinstein stepped down and Gavin Newsom appointed someone, then they would have had a term to serve out. That's not the case now because there is an election. But handing a slight advantage, a very slight advantage, to a black woman for running for a seat for which we have traditionally been systematically excluded is not a crime. In fact, in my book, it would be an achievement, an accomplishment, a promise kept. 800-920-1580, that's the number to call if you got something to say. And we do have a lot to talk about today. Going right to Ron from Richmond. Good morning, sir.
We're the 49ers. Oh, man, y'all put the beat down on my Steelers. Oh, my gosh. I don't know what happened to my football team. I'm like, ooh, wee. I know it's just week one, but y'all, yeah, Dominique, y'all, your boys showed up out there in Fitchburg, so I can't even be mad at it.
Well, I didn't get to watch football this weekend, even though I said I was going to. I didn't even get to watch Coco Gauff win. I'm so mad about that.
Congrats going out to her. Yeah, she did that. Congrats out to her. 19 years old, doing it.
Yeah, I hope. I'm really proud of her because that's much harder than it looks. I hope she's not getting. You saw that quote where she's saying she basically thanked the people that didn't believe in her.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
the haters are elevators speech. She has a right to say what she want to say, but I hope she's not getting caught up in the bitterness that is out there in the very lily white. Still, even with Venus and Serena and all this black talent coming in, and it's still a very lily white, very exclusive kind of establishment. I hope they're not wearing her down and getting to her spirit.
That's so real quick. I'm going to say this to Shirley Strawberry. Can I just, Dominique, you used to work with her back in the day. If she ever comes to the West Coast again, I just want to meet her and give her a hug. Oh, my gosh. She's doing one of the realest, she's putting out one of the realest strawberry letters I ever heard in my life. I'm not going to spoil it because I know folks out here on the West Coast want to hear. So if you miss it, go to the podcast and all that good stuff. Yeah, she's keeping it 100, so that's all I say on that. Shout out to Shirley Strawberry, whole crew, Steve Harvey, all that good stuff. But, yeah, she, woo-wee. I'm just saying that because I had a little crush on her back in the day, before she got married and all that, you know what I'm saying?
You
just
can still have a crush on her even though she's married. It's funny because there's all this gossip going around about Shirley right now. And Shirley, it's not just that I used to work with her back in the day. She's my friend. I love Shirley Strawberry. She's my girl. And, you won't hear me talking a lot about that gossip because it feels too personal to me. Like, I don't know all the details or whatever, but she's my friend, And she is a woman that stands up for other women, which is not widely known, but it is true. When I first took over Front Page, when I first started at Front Page and I was encountering a lot of haters, Shirley was one of the people that had my back and encouraged me behind the scenes and, told me to stand strong and be tough. And coming from her, she's such a girly girl. That was that was a wake-up call. Yeah, but that said, Steve Harvey is technically my competition, so don't be giving him shouts out.
I got you. Yeah, even though like you just said, even though I've never met her in person like that, she seemed like she is a really good person with a good heart. She really does, and I mean that.
Yeah, she really is. She's a good person with a good heart, and she opened doors to a lot of us in radio, on little podcasts, whatever that little thing you doing that you think you just doing because you're doing it. Shirley Strawberry was down there putting it down and opening doors for us. And
that's what's up.
And has been consistent, and she's also got definitely one of the best voices in radio.
Well, she really does, yeah. And then the one thing I like about her, she said if it wasn't for her faith in God, she said she probably would have been lost by now. So I commend her, and she reads her Bible too. So I just take my hat off to her. I salute her. She won't bounce back. Then of course we all know how Steve do. So, but it's all about KBLA.
Don't get me started on how Steve do, because Steve and I.
Coast, you feel me?
Look. I'm kind of playing because I used to be one of Harvey's angels, and I was on the Steve Harvey Morning Show, as you know, for almost 4 years. I know where the bodies are buried. I never thought I'd see the day where I'd be going toe-to-toe with him in Morning Drive. God is good all the time. And he's a gazillionaire, and I'm a thousandaire. So, obviously I'm not competing with Steve Harvey other than I'm competing with Steve Harvey. Tell a friend. Listen to me, not him. Watch him on Family Feud. There's plenty of places to see Steve.
It's all about you, but man, and you pumped yourself up. Yeah, we trying to get you more listeners. So
I'm sorry about your Steelers. Sorry, not sorry, Ron.
It's all good. Shout out to my boy Miles, man. Keep holding it down, Dominique. Hey, you keep pumping yourself. I got your back over here, so I'm gonna promote you on my Facebook and all that.
Thank you, Ron from Richmond. I believe you and I appreciate you. Get the app, get the app, get the app. That helps everyone on KBLA at the App Store, the Google Play Store. And yes, the sisterhood is real. And yes, big love going out to Shirley Strawberry. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Today marks the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks. Families who lost loved ones that day will be gathering at the World Trade Center Memorial in Manhattan. During a ceremony, names of the nearly 3,000 victims killed will be read out loud, along with tolling of bells and moments of silence. Baltimore, Maryland Mayor, African-American Brandon Scott, spoke publicly over the weekend about the police response to a mass shooting earlier this summer. The July 2nd shooting at Brooklyn homes left 2 people dead and 28 others wounded. Speaking on WBAL radio, Scott discussed a recently released after-action report that detailed breakdowns in communication, a lack of leadership, and police indifference. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Summer days getting shorter and business to-do lists getting longer? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor your first job and get hiring today by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A surprising first week of the season for both of LA's NFL teams. The Chargers losing home to Miami. The Rams went up to Seattle and put up 30 points on their scoreboard. They also shut out Seattle in the second half to win by 17. The Chargers lose to Miami by 2. They gave up 36 points and 538 yards in total offense. Going to be a long week for the Chargers defense. USC moved up to 5th in this week's AP Top 25 college football rankings. Colorado moved up 4 spots to number 18. The top 4, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and Texas. The Dodgers, 32 games over 500, reduced their magic number to 6 to win the NL West title. The Dodgers are back home tonight to start a 3-game series against San Diego. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, this is LA City Councilman Kern Price, inviting you to the 28th Annual Central Avenue Jazz Fest on September the 23rd from 11 to 7 p.m. For nearly 3 decades, the Central Avenue Jazz Festival has paid homage to the legendary Central Avenue and its influence on jazz history. Jazz, blues, and Latin jazz will be featured on 3 stages of music. Co-headlining are Hubert Laws with special guest Eloise Laws and the Billy Childs Quartet featuring Sean Jones. The day includes plenty of food, merchants, and 4 pavilions focused on youth programming, art, health and wellness, and public resources. Parking is limited, so Metro and rideshare are recommended. Hubert Laws with special guests Eloise Laws and the Billy Childs Quartet featuring Sean Jones. The day includes plenty of food, merchants, and 4 pavilions focused on youth programming, art, health and wellness, and public resources. For more information, visit CentralAveJazzFest.com. CentralAveJazzFest.com. See you on the 23rd.
What does access mean?
Access means owning a home. Access means growing my business.
Access means building generational wealth. No matter your goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Programs and initiatives provide the tools and resources to help you reach them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
As we go a little something like this.
Hey, it is me, D.L. Hughley, and I am thrilled to be heard weekdays in my hometown on KBLA Talk 1580. So check out the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a whole lot to talk about, let me tell you.
That's on the real. Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr.
publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. We thank you, and I hope that however you commemorate 9/11, that you're doing just that. People call it a day of service, a day of prayer. I always have trouble with these anniversaries only because there are so many of them. And this, 9/11 is tricky because I am definitely a patriot. And I always have a global perspective. So I think about all the folks that lost loved ones in 9/11. And I also think about all of the countries that suffer attacks all the time, whether it be by the U.S. or others, and how, for me, the ultimate solution is peace. For me, the ultimate solution is peace. So, just a quick check-in here with a new acquaintance. She is a senior public affairs specialist for the AQMD, South Coast AQMD Office of Legislative and Public Affairs, and they provide outreach and assist local government agencies through the South Coast Air Basin. It is a pleasure to welcome Christina Lopez. Good morning. I know you got an event to tell us about and whatnot, but let's start with the basic. Christina, what is AQMD? Because it's amazing how many people who are politically, socially sophisticated don't even know what it is.
Yes, so South Coast AQMD is the regulatory agency that is responsible for improving air quality for the larger areas of Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties, including Coachella Valley.
Wow. So it's it's important work. It's just one of those important but possibly not so sexy agencies, right? So we should all be thankful that someone's out there looking out for our air quality. And tell me about this event that you guys have coming up.
Yes, so on this coming Wednesday, we will be hosting the 9th Annual Environmental Justice Conference that will be held at the Riverside Convention Center. And so we will have some pretty good lineups as far as 2 breakout sessions and plenary session. The first one, the breakout session, will cover empowering overburdened communities, bridging the resource gap for environmental justice. And then the second breakout session is unlocking green opportunities, job training, and education for environmental justice. And then, as I mentioned, our plenary will be discussing building a collaborative path to environmental justice, community, technology, and partnerships.
Okay, so this is all happening Wednesday, a couple days from now, in Riverside at the Convention Center. How can people get in? How can they register, find out more details? It's open to the public?
Yes, it is open to the public. We did have a high interest, so our registration for in-person is closed, but we are going to be live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and also through Whova, which is a platform that will be able to have our attendees interact and network, and then be able to view through the mobile app or on their desktop.
Wow, that's awesome. It's great that so many people are interested in such as that. Christina Lopez, tell us where to find, what's the address for your YouTube and your Whova and all that?
Yes, so, they can find information on our website at www.aqmd.gov. And Whova, the platform, is WHOVA. If they search Whova, they'll be able to pull it up. As far as other sources, I know that it will be available on our webcast for our on our aqmd.gov page. So if you're not able to make it, you can still view it afterwards.
So what do you hope to come out of this? I mean, it's the 9th annual. Some of us, apparently a lot of people are tracking it if you've already sold out in-person registration at the convention center. But what's the goal of this?
The goal is to, effectively engage stakeholders in ways to build a path to environmental justice through community, technology, and partnerships. And so the hope is that, we bring these collaborative efforts so that we go into trying to have better air quality in our region.
Yeah, I mean, it is confusing because we hear, oh, it's getting better. No, it's getting worse. It's getting better. No, it's getting worse. And so it sounds like what you're trying to do is make sure that people are engaged with where we actually are right now and what can be done about it.
That is true. And we also have education programs through, anywhere from your K to 12, and we also have incentive and resources available to the public. I recommend that you visit our website or even download our app and be able to sign up for alerts, when how the air quality is every day of your, daily lives, and how you actively are in the community trying to, find out, is it safe for me to go out and go for a run? So there is a lot of information that's available to the public.
Yeah, and it's important, I would imagine, increasingly important, but important for, everybody, especially if you're vulnerable in any way. Having asthma, being an elder, that we track these things. But when you talk about an entire environmental justice conference, you're talking about changing people's perception and understanding of what can be done in this, when we talk about air quality, because there's a huge disparity between certain communities and others, right?
That is correct. And that's where we're trying to bridge that in, it's especially important for, our residents living in environmental justice communities that are impacted by a larger share of the air pollution burden. So we're trying to make those connections at this conference, and we hope that you'll be able to join us.
It's weird because we think, well, at least for me, I think about we all breathe the same air, right? It's one planet. We all have the same atmosphere. It's one human race. We all have to live on this one planet. But when it comes to air quality, there are differences between different neighborhoods within the same state, let alone the same planet.
That is correct, and those communities that are even more heavily, burdened by air pollution, depending on, where they live, and what type of impacts are being made by transportation, right? So if they're closer to a freeway or a manufacturing plant, depending, on where they reside. But there's, these efforts are to try to bring cleaner air technologies to the different businesses so that we minimize that effect or, on the community.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone's invited. Well, you're going to have to be invited virtually now, which ain't bad because we got a little mini surge going on in gas prices and COVID. So Riverside Convention Center is where it is live. But to register now, we would go, do we have to register for the online, or we just show up on YouTube or Hoover? How does that work?
Yes. No, if you are unable to register in time, you can always join us on YouTube at South Coast AQMD. And then also on Facebook Live. So if you have access to those, you're most certainly welcome to join us that way. But yes, registration through the virtual platform is through Hoover, and that gives you access to networking and be able to have more information on our speakers. We will have our South Coast AQMD Chair, retired Senator Vanessa Delgado, Dr. Jalone White-Newsome, Senior Director, White House Council on Environmental Quality, and then our keynote speaker will be Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia.
All right. Well, Christina Lopez, I appreciate the information. This is Wednesday from when to when? What's the hour? What are the hours of this?
10 a.m. to about 1 o'clock.
10 a.m. until about 1. Christina Lopez, Senior Public Affairs Specialist for the AQMD. Thank you for leading us on the path towards environmental justice and more breathable air.
Thank you.
All right. It's a great time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason from KBLA Talk 1580. Listen, if you're in the market for the best prices and the fastest delivery for custom-made roller shade, LA Custom Blinds is the place to be. Schedule a free estimate and they will come to your house, measure your windows, and bring a variety of fabrics to choose from. And then come back and install it all for free. The best part is that their factory is located right here in downtown Los Angeles, so they make the shades really fast. All you gotta do is go to lacustomblinds.com and schedule your free in-home estimate right now. Tell them Zoe Williams sent you.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and it's powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
The Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center proudly presents its 25th annual Real Black Men Short Film Showcase, September 22nd through September 24th. Join us for the opening night celebration on Friday, September 22nd, and enjoy the short film showcase featuring 47 films by emerging black male directors from across the country. Continuing on Saturday, September 23rd and Sunday, September 24th. All events will be held at the Regal LA Live Cinemas, 1000 West Olympic Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. For more information and tickets, visit bherc.org. That's bherc.org or call 323-957-4656. That's 323-957-4656. Don't miss your chance to celebrate excellence in black cinema all weekend long at the Real Black Men Short Film Showcase. See you there.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
And you're invited in, as always, 800-920-1580. Really looking forward to talking with attorney Nkechi Taifa, who was an early adapter of reparations activism. She will be joining me in the third hour of the show. I don't know about you. You talk about the national being local, the local being national. This earthquake in Morocco, I know that's international, but if that doesn't have you checking your earthquake kit here in Los Angeles, maybe you're not paying attention. Of course, it's, tragic for those folks in Morocco. 2,500 now dead from one quake. And they said it was the strongest quake to hit that region in 100 years, but it's actually not that strong compared to some of the Cali quakes that we've had. So, if you didn't get it for the supposed Hurricane Hillary, you got to get it together now. We have to. You got people in Morocco sleeping on the streets because they're afraid the buildings will fall down. And I always say this, we have tougher, stricter standards about buildings and such, but there's still a lot of buildings in California that were constructed in ways that wouldn't be allowed now. A lot of the cement buildings that are just simply don't hold up well in quakes. We got to have, and we always talk about flashlights and batteries and a 3 day to 1 week supply of food and water for each individual in that house, like canned goods, bottled water. We talk about that. Some of us do it, some of us don't. But what we don't talk about is that plan, that emergency plan. Where do you guys meet? If everyone's scattered all over the city, what's the meeting point for the family? Does everybody know that? Who's the person out of town that everyone can call in case our phone lines are down or our cell service is down? Who's the person that we can call, that we all call to let each other know we're okay? You're out of town contact. You're out of town contact. Does everybody know that? Sometimes after a big quake, you can't call out on a cell phone. So if you're amazing, you have a landline. And sometimes you can't call on the landline, so you need the cell phone. But still, in case we can't reach each other because of the destruction, the damage within our city or town or neighborhood, who's the person in another state that we call? If there's no way to get into our neighborhood where our house is, what's the meeting point for the family to go to? If we're all inside, what's the evacuation plan? Does everyone know how to get out, what to do? I mean, I think while we're seeing the most extreme effects of what an earthquake can really do to a community, aside from praying or sending donations to Morocco, and I'm happy to see that that's happening globally, right? We also need to think about, while we're on this topic, while we're freaked out about it, have I done what I need to do for myself, my pet, my family, in case of such as this? Because we, ladies and gentlemen, we live in earthquake country. We really, really do. We got a lot to talk about. And I'm really kind of amped up on reparations, but I have a guest joining us, Hour 3, Attorney Taifa, so we'll save some of that convo for then. So let's talk about the strikes when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on.
K-Drip. We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
We are for everybody, and everybody includes you. So there will be no picketing today in honor of the remembrance of September 11th, but the Writers Guild and Screen Actors Guild are back on the picket lines tomorrow, and there will be big solidarity march on Wednesday with the unions coming together and also joining in a march and rally. So, the strikes continue. We hope to see movement, but the march on Wednesday starts at Netflix. That's 1456 South Van Ness Avenue in Los Angeles. Starts at 8 o'clock in the morning to gather at Netflix Studios. And then at 9 o'clock, they march from Netflix to Paramount Studios. And at 10 o'clock, there's a rally at Paramount. This is a solidarity march, LA-wide, so all of the other picket lines will be shut down, and it will just be this big march. There's also, picketing Tuesday. It's everywhere except Warner Brothers. Picketing Thursday. And all of those go from 9 to noon, Thursday, Friday. The usual kind of picket line situation. The Writers Guild is now saying, look, because we're in this stalemate where we went back to the table with the AMPTP, which is the group representing the producers and studios. We went back to the table, but there hasn't been any movement, and the Writers Guild has been on strike for 130 days. We went back to the table. We're not seeing any movement, so we're willing to take the extraordinary step of talking to individual studios and going around the AMPTP. The Writers Guild says they're not required. There's no contract or anything that says they have to negotiate with the AMPTP. It could be done directly with a Netflix or directly with a Paramount or whatever. And I guess this is the Writers Guild way of trying to shake things loose so we can get some movement, because everybody that lives here on the West Coast knows that this is not just impacting the writers or the actors. This is hitting hard. Everybody from florists to makeup shops, caterers, all the people that are actually dependent on the entertainment ecosystem are suffering right now. And we'll see. I mean, I think it's good that they're putting it out there. Maybe this will make the AMPTP worry, because if Netflix decides to talk directly to the writers, if Disney decides to talk directly to the writers, although I doubt that, but let's say they do, does that render the AMPTP irrelevant? If Netflix makes a deal, does that mean that they can go back to work? Yes, it does. While other studios sit idly by because we will continue to boycott them. Writers have been on strike since May. Actors, we went out in mid-July. All of us want to get back to work, but the way the studios are acting now, suspending people's deals and such, it looks like we won't be back to work until sometime in 2024. So good for the Writers Guild for getting creative, and hopefully this can move the needle. Looking forward to Mindful Monday and talking with Neil Anderson. All that next hour on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Moore.